Mandela Day's action points focus to fix South Africa democracy. The Ahmed Kathrada Foundation is calling on South Africans to share their thoughts on actions that need to be taken to fix our democracy in relation to state reform. In honor of Nelson Mandela, organizations, businesses, workers, state employees, youth, and all individuals are encouraged to fill in a short online form, where we're asking for views on what actions are needed to fix our democracy, said the Foundation's Executive Director, Nishan Bolton. The process will allow for public submissions up until midday on July 16, followed by a collation process, categorizing and condensing the content into 67 action points. The Foundation said the focus on state reform is aimed at collecting and implementing specific ideas rather than having a broad focus. There are myriad challenges that we face in our country, from gender-based violence to racism, unemployment, and xenophobia, but we thought that this survey should focus very specifically on the state and issues related to governance, capture and corruption, accountability and ethical leadership, among several other key areas, said Bolton. The list of 67 action points will be made public on Mandela Day to mark the legacy of the former president who spent 67 years of his life championing social justice and equality, as well as accountable and ethical leadership. Mandela Day encourages active citizenship. It is about taking Madiba's legacy forward. While it is important, especially in light of the current health and food crisis as a result of COVID-19, to undertake humanitarian work, it is equally important to promote democratic ideals. These are important because it will ensure a strengthened democracy that will allow us to weather the COVID-19 storm, as well as respond effectively to increased economic and social tensions. Bolton explained. Bolton argued that if certain parts of SARS democracy were not broken, if the state had not been captured in the last decade, and if the people's interests were always at the heart of governance, the country would have had greater resilience to deal with all other issues. We would have had more money for social grants, for hospital beds and ventilators, for protective gear for nurses and doctors, for proper housing and sanitation, for schools with access to water, for bailouts for small businesses and for shelters for abused women and children. The billions that were siphoned from our public purse have not been returned, and those behind its theft still walk free. And while all this is happening, we have an almost apathetic approach towards citizen involvement in our democracy, he said. He added that the Foundation is deeply concerned that as the country grapples with the pandemic, public money still continues to be looted, even from emergency funds made available to deal with the crisis. These are some of the many long-term challenges, which cannot be fixed in 67 minutes. It is a process that will require the collective involvement of all who live in the country over many years. However, we think that encouraging people to pen their views about how our democracy can be fixed will activate public engagement. This will contribute to ensuring that these issues are not treated as sideline matters during the pandemic, but are given priority on the national agenda, as part of a sustainable plan to deal with deep-rooted, systemic problems that make tackling crises all the more challenging, he added.